of course, I do the classic cocktails, but I love as well if someone says, okay, invent me a cocktail.
Welcome to the Lush Life podcast. I'm your drinking companion, Susan Schwartz, and I bring you the how-to guide for living life one cocktail at a time. Thanks to my mother's love of martinis, the first words I spoke were shaken, not stirred, and I've been obsessed by cocktails ever since. Together, we'll learn from bartenders, brand ambassadors, distillers, and others why certain drinks are popular in certain cultures, how to make the perfect old-fashioned, when to shake and when to stir, and so much more. Hear that sound? It's time to cozy up to the bar and let the fun begin. I really want to make this the shortest intro of all. It's just, I don't want to give anything away about our next guest until you hear it from him. Visit Justus Hoffstaedter at the Hotel Heureka in Venice now, and I mean now, because you'll want to say you knew him when. As for his future plans, I'll let him tell you. But it all began in Baden-Baden.
So I was born in Baden-Baden in Germany. There I lived for 3 years. Then I moved to Stuttgart. Then I moved to Munich. In Munich I went to this school. Then I moved to Vienna. In Vienna I lived for 10 years. And now I'm here in Venice.
Oh boy. So you've gone all around the world.
All around the world,
all
yes.
Austria.
All the time with my family.
Germanic Empire.
And here in Venice, it's the first time for me, living alone, my own apartment, without my family. My family is back in Vienna.
And what did you study?
I did my final exams in school, then I did tourism school, and after 2 years I finished tourism school, and then I got into business, into restaurants, bars, hotels.
So did you always know as a child that you wanted to work in tourism?
So my first idea of my dream job was I want to manage a castle. So hotel manager of a castle. Then after a few years I changed to hotel manager is fine as well.
Now, you wanted to manage a castle. That is really specific.
Yes.
Was there a castle that you had been to that you said, that I have to manage?
No, not that. But my family went to different super hotels, outstanding hotels with me when I was a little child. So there I got into hotels and wow, that's so beautiful here. And yeah, that's the reason I said I want to manage a castle.
You still might. Still might.
Yes, it's still my dream.
So you just knew you fast-tracked into tourism and hotel management.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And when did you start adding the drinks and the hospitality?
Hospitality and drinks as well when I was a little child. It was in Munich. I loved to make cocktails. I had my 2-3 little cocktail books, and I said to my mother, can you buy me these spirits please, and everything.
How old were you?
I was 10 or 11 and I did cocktail parties for friends. If they did garden work, I was there with a table, and in the break I made cocktails for them.
Do you remember those 2 books that you had? The little books that you had as a child?
Not the name, but the cocktails.
What cocktails?
It was the Aloha cocktail.
So you were making tiki cocktails at age 10.
A non-alcoholic juice cocktail and sunrise.
Like a tequila sunrise, but without the tequila?
Yes, sunrise, that was the one cocktail. I added a little bit of alcohol. But at that time, I didn't drink any alcohol.
Did you serve these to your parents' friends?
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
And in my neighborhood, one day I got my ice bag. I put a mixer in it, ice cubes, glasses, the spirits, the juices, straws, and then I went from door to door in the neighborhood and asked, "Do you want a cocktail? I make it. It's free. You don't have to pay anything."
Did people think you were crazy? Or did they say,
I
yeah,
hope
sure?
no.
It's very rare that a child knocks on the door.
Yes, but in the neighborhood it was okay because everyone knew, this is Justus here and with his little brother. And
so you got your brother in on it too.
Yes, someone need to help me with the bags. With
How
the
old
carrying.
is your brother? How many years younger?
He's 5 years younger.
5 years younger. So he was really small.
Yes.
Oh my God! Your parents must have thought, "What? Oh boy, we're gonna have problems with this child."
Yes. So they were the first beginnings as well. I loved cooking. I did 5 courses, dinners, and everything for my family and friends.
For if your parents had anyone over for dinner, they had a whole staff.
Yes, yes, right.
Oh, I love that so much. That's so dear. That's so funny. In America, we, as children, sometimes we have lemonade stands. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you sell lemonade for $1,
yes.
People stop by. But you could have had a whole bar out there. Yes. Oh, that is great. I love that. So, gosh, you were meant for this. So when did you become a proper bartender? When did you do your study for that?
I did my final exams in school in Vienna. Then I said, okay, now I'm looking for very serious my way up to the top. And I have really good friends already working in hotels and that kind. So they helped me with choosing the right school for that. So I went to the Vienna module, the tourism school. Was really nice. Mm-hmm. And after that I decided, okay, now I will start in the F&B department because I love the being with the people, speaking, serving them, mm-hmm. and that's very fun for me.
In the F&B course or in your studies, did you have to learn proper bartending, bar backing and...
Yes.
Making cocktails.
Yes.
Did it all come back to you? Did you remember, oh, well, I know how to make the tequila sunrise, because I did it when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Did it come naturally to you?
Some things came back as well, the shaking and the glasses and all that stuff. Mm. So it was very fun again because I learned more than I already knew about bartending. And yes, but the first step for me was service. So I started with the service. I did barista course and sommelier course, and I worked in a vineyard. So the grapes, I cutted the grapes and pressed them and made wine in Vienna. Then over a few restaurants and hotels. Parkheit was my last station in Vienna. Then I decided, okay, servers, I'm good now. I know almost everything. Now bartending. So I can make my bases larger. So servers, bartending, cooking, F&B, the 3 kinds you have. If you want to make a restaurant, then I'm a person, I want to know everything. So that everyone knows from my staff, okay, he's a really good cook, he's a really good bartender, and he can do service. So that's my idea behind this. So I said, okay, bartending, I can get better. I did my bartending course in Milano. So one more bartending course for me. It was 4 weeks, very heavy from the learning and...
Was it in a hotel?
It was in the EBS, European Bartender School.
Oh.
And I heard some things about that before. Said, okay, maybe it's good, but it was better.
Mm-hmm. It's better than you
Yes,
thought.
because you really have to learn all the cocktails. So after the 4 weeks, you know 120 cocktails, but you have to know them from decoration, about the measures, about the glasses, about the ice, so everything, every little point, because in the end you have the final exams as well there, in flair, in pouring, in speed test, in theory, and in cocktail knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So
you do flair there.
Yes. And I'm as well certified as in the Word Flair Association with the I have the yellow and the orange level.
I love it. See, no matter how far away we get from the movie Cocktail, I still think that film really had made an impression on a lot of future bartenders.
Yes.
A lot of them that I've interviewed have said, oh, well, I saw a Cocktail, so I had to be a flair. Now I do classic. You know, they all say, oh, but now I do classic. It's fine. And I do classic competitions. But there's always that little bit of flair, I think.
Yes.
You know, it's...
Yeah, just a little bit, just if you see how the bartender grabs a bottle, you don't have to throw it around because, of course, one of 500 times you may slip the bottle, and especially here in this bar, it wouldn't be that much fun.
No, they wouldn't
with
like
the floor, and then
Yes.
it's really noisy. So, of course, you leave this part away, but as well, just a little bit of...
a little spectacle,
Yes.
a little drama.
Yes.
So you were still in Austria. You said you were at the Park Hyatt.
Yes.
When did you decide to come to Venice?
Yeah, it was... after the bartending school in Milano, I went back to Vienna. There I worked in 2 bars, very famous for Vienna as well. And I created a new cocktail menu for a restaurant bar.
Oh, so you were really in the bar world.
Yes.
You didn't go back to the hotel
No.
world. You just stayed in bars.
Yes, then I said, okay, now I did my bartending course. Now I need just I need hours to work to get everything, to practice the shaking.
To refine, I guess.
Yes. So 2 bars I worked in and the 1 bar menu. And then I got the offer, do you want to work in Venice as a bartender? And I said, would be great, because...
Hold on, I'm going to stop you there for a sec. You said you created a menu. How long were you working in Vienna for the bar when they decided to ask you to create the menu?
Was like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, so you were right there. You were all ready.
Yes.
To do a
So
bar
the-
menu. So
the-
what did you feel? I have had enough practice and I find enough and studies to
Yes.
be able to create it?
Yes. Because I'm in cocktails, I'm very creative. So of course I do the classic cocktails, but I love as well if someone says, okay, invent me a cocktail. Then normally here at the bar here, if someone says, okay, make me a cocktail, I'm standing still for 5 seconds, just watching the person. Then I'm turning around, 5 more seconds watching the spirits, and then I have an idea. I think, okay, that's a cocktail for him. Then I make the cocktail, and till now.
So how many,
Everyone
on
was
that
satisfied.
original cocktail menu,
Yes.
how many drinks did you have to make?
It was, the owners wanted 20 cocktails, and from these 20 cocktails, they took 11. So I did a few twists on original ones, then I invented a few cocktails, but simple, so no longer pre-working with making syrups, and that wasn't a point for them, that they don't have to get one more barkeeper just for preparation.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, a very old-fashioned, just a bourbon whiskey infused with berries, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So a few twists and 2-3 cocktails I invented by myself.
Now, Vienna is a big city.
Yes.
An international city. I mean, to move to Venice, it must seem very small. Of course, it's international as well, but it's a much smaller place.
Mm-hmm.
So what brought you here? What was really the impetus for you to make that change?
So I started making holidays here in Venice, I don't know, 15 years ago, and from the beginning I had a connection to Venice and as well to Italy. So Italy and Venice was for me great, and in Vienna I wanted to make experience as well in Italy or in England. So I decided I go to Italy, and then okay, it would be great to work in Venice. And then I got the offer, and I said, okay,
it was
great,
meant to be.
Perfect. I will go to Venice.
Mm-hmm.
And
so, have you been here since the beginning when it opened?
Since the beginning, since July.
July.
Yes. So I helped building the bar and get everything to the different floors. So everything to build up.
Yeah, you created this bar.
Yes.
And I assume it's obvious. I know it has its own menu. Did you create I assume you created all the new cocktails.
Yes.
As well. Venice is known for 2 cocktails, pretty much. The Bellini and the Aperol Spritz.
Yes.
Is that what you make now all the time? Or are they pretty creative, the guests, when they ask for things?
So the guests, of course, when they do especially aperitivo, they ask for Aperol Spritz, Campari Spritz.
Select?
Then very less for Select, and almost nobody for Cynar Spritz. So
we'll talk about that one in a sec. But yes.
So, of course, you have these for aperitivo, and I think Aperol Spritz for aperitivo is just a nice cocktail. The Bellini as well, in the summer especially, because we make our peach puree ourselves, so in the kitchen. So we have the Bellini just in the summertime, in the time for the peaches. So I love to make the Bellini as well in the steering glass, just with a little bit show, and yeah.
Are the guests open to you making them cocktails of your own invention here?
Yes, they are. So if I'm speaking with the guests and they hear, he did these courses and these cocktails are from him, then they say, okay, now we want a cocktail.
Yeah, so that if they stay for longer than
Yes.
2 nights, and you get to
Yes.
tell them your story. Of course, I want one of the cocktails.
I had 2 guests, I think last week. I spoke with them and told my story a little bit, and then the day after they said, we heard yesterday you're the bartender and everything. Now we want a cocktail.
Now, do you still foresee running a castle in your future?
As one point, yes. So now I have a few ideas. Of course, running a castle is on top. Then hotel manager and having my own restaurant, but in these steps. So castle, hotel, restaurant.
All right. Well, we're going to have to let everyone know where you are, because no matter where you are, I know the cocktails at those places are going to be incredible. So, do you want to come make me a cocktail?
Yes.
A castle. How many of us plan to visit that castle in the future? I know I will. If Eustace is in charge, you know it will be divine. It was such a pleasure meeting him. And just so you know, Every cocktail on the Hotel Heureka's menu was outstanding. So now it's time for our cocktail of the week. Also a Venetian favorite. I was lucky enough to meet Russell Norman, the founder of the Polpo restaurants in London and author of several books on Venice, before my visit to the Hotel Heureka to interview Eustace. Our conversation led to a discussion of the Aperol Spritz and how it conquered the world. He told me the Venetians were rebelling against it and have taken up the Cynar Spritz instead. I had Eustace make me one, and although I'm not a big Cynar fan by any means, I liked it. Enough to order it again. Still, it might be because Eustace is a great bartender, so I might not try it anywhere but the Hotel Heureka. Oh, and by the way, Russell and I dubbed it the Lagoon Spritz due to its murky color. So, add 6 cls of white wine or Prosecco to a glass filled with ice. Then add in 3 cls of Cynar. Then a dash of seltzer water or club soda, and a slice of lemon to garnish. If you are a true Venetian, add a green olive. By the way, Venetians only have an Aperol Spritz with an olive, not a slice of orange. You'll find this recipe and all the cocktails of the week on lushlifemanual.com, where you'll also find all the ingredients in our shop. Next time, we're back in Nuremberg to meet the man who heads up the place that everyone wants to end up. It's his drive to make it the friendliest place in town with the cleanest loos. If you're planning to be in London this summer, please check out the list of my favorite summer cocktails at lushlifemanual.com. It's right on the homepage. Until next time, bottoms up. Thanks for listening to the Lush Life podcast, the sister of A Lush Life Manual. For more information and links to everything you heard, plus a bit more, please visit alushlifemanual.com. Always remember the wise words of Oscar Wilde. All things in moderation, including moderation. And always drink responsibly. Okay, I said that last part. Theme music is by Steven Shapiro and used with permission. Lush Life is produced by Terra, and I'm your hostess, Susan Schwartz. I'll see you at the bar.